This is Family Electric Ghost, and we're live on the air with Angela Thomas for the first time. Welcome to the Family Electric Ghost podcast. How you doing tonight?
Very good, thank you. In my country, where you reach me from, is it already morning, 5 a.m.? So
Early
I
today.
can
Yeah,
say good morning to you.
yeah. It's like eight o'clock at night in New Hampshire, USA. That's where I am. But I want to thank you for being on the show today. Before we start, we do have a QR code there that kind of ties to Podmatch. That's how we got booked today. So if you
Yes.
check that out, you can get affiliate opportunities if you check that link. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to swap out that link, and we actually have a QR code for your website. And
Mm.
that's the QR code that's out there now is actually the one for your website. And we ask people to scan that QR code with your phone. You want to learn more about your guest, that will actually go to the Calendly link that you have for your beauty biz skilly on air session.
Skillionair, yes, exactly.
Yeah, so that if you check that out, you can kind of follow that while we're talking tonight. But before we get to the heart of your story, I always ask every guest a couple questions. The questions are, what motivates you, and why do you do what you do?
Hmm. Well, yeah, I don't know if you know, guys, human design, and I am actually set it. That's a kind of a setting how you are structured as a person, a blueprint for your personality. And in this is my personality is actually structured very collective. So I'm always looking for the others and have always in mind what can I bring to the world and what is the purpose for me to even be here. And I always look what are my God's gifts, and for that, accordingly, I think they are not made for me to put them in the drawer somehow, and that's why I'm trying to bring the best to other people, and that what motivates me because I see a lot of people that they are struggling of catching the momentum and get for more. They are just exchanging time for money. And I always see where's the leverage point by nature. I don't know. It's like kind of I have X-ray eyes and I connect the dots like nobody. And if I see this in a person in a business, then it comes to me very natural that I can see where they can shift more. And I think that is something that I wanted to bring to them, and that's what I do. What I do.
So you like to scale businesses and help like entrepreneurs, especially like service-based entrepreneurs, scale their business and be able to get, I guess, the engagement or the connection with their audience or their clients that they need
Yeah.
or what they should be
Yes.
hitting.
Exactly. Yeah. Hmm.
So there's another idea like family office 2.0. Like, what does a modern founder really need to grow with all the
Yeah.
tools that we have in like your insight? So like scaling a business, what how do you approach that opportunity?
Well, you mentioned already AI, and that is, of course, a very big shift of what you need to have as a modern founder nowadays to implement it in your business and not only using it like, it's the next game, it's the next toy for you as an entrepreneur, but also really slim down processes for you to catch up with time. As I'm here talking from Dubai, I don't know really no other place where time goes by so fast. It's like you can bend time here. And therefore, you need really tools that help you to catch up with everything and help you to implement everything fast enough. Because as I always say to my students, yeah, slow is the new expensive. If you be not fast enough, then you lose out on opportunities. And with AI, you can do this, not only slimming down your processes, but also give your team enough time for doing things that bring you more forward, while saving time on other things that they usually spend time for. And yeah, that is something very important. What actually a new entrepreneur or a family office needs, and of course a good diversification for projects. We have a lot of projects where we personally invest as a company in them ourselves. We also have a good portfolio on projects where we only lead the founder or the person who has this project, the company itself, to shift more. And yeah, often in this era of life of our human beings, it is the AI effect, but still not losing the connection to be a human. And
Yeah, 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 that's always like the dichotomy is
yeah,
like how do you contain maintain so it's not like a cookie cutter? Like a lot of
yeah,
times the human experience allows you to have individual catering to who that individual is. So if an entrepreneur is doing something very unique, and if they go to a lot of people to help them, like they might have a cookie cutter approach to this is how you
yeah,
scale your in 12 steps. And they apply that 12 steps to any company they talk to versus somebody that maybe does the work, looks at who that company is, figures out like, oh, here, this is their secret sauce. This is what their opportunity is. This is how we can actually scale them and get them where they need to be. And
yeah.
it didn't work for company XYZ, but it works for company A.
Yes. We have, for example, a project where we basically uh, use this very well. Yeah, we do have a project that we invest in it ourselves. It is a project where we help European doctors to come to UAE. So now, when you look at the whole situation, you can either scale over technology or bind the client, because it is such a very personal process that they are in to relocate from one to the other. They often leave everything because of the economy behind them. So it's a very, very sensitive and personal process. And we managed to scale it on the other one hand, to really shift it, and with the help of AI. But if we would only do that, we would be the cookie cutter, as you say, and lose actually the binding to our clients. But we utilize this time that we gain through the process optimization with AI in order to personally bind those clients and actually pick them up on a very specific personal note. So they have a very big binding to us. So we have actually a very phenomenal basic to all of our clients for a totally other business model. As they are coming to Dubai, they wanted to often have their own clinics, but don't know how to do this. And here in Dubai, it is totally different. You need
Yeah,
to have
totally
a lot of
different country
mobile.
rules. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
you
you have your own like regulations and business
yeah.
processes. So there's like a
After
lot of
all,
somebody wouldn't know that, right? They wouldn't know what it is. You probably help them with that.
ex- exactly. And we built the whole environment of a franchise around, so they don't have to worry, because they don't know what to do here. And they realize that you need a lot of more water here in the desert to send out your entrepreneur caravan.
Yeah.
So they are very pleasant, but we only can manage that. Like the founder of McDonald's, to have actually franchisees to take over a concept like that by binding. So we have already a big asset through AI, saved time, optimized processes to bind our franchisees, our future franchisees, to go further in our value ladder. So that's how we scale basically. And yeah, that is one of the examples that we do that with. Mhm.
So what's your description of an entrepreneurial like family office? What how does that work for you? Is that like part of this franchise model or is that something different?
Well, a family office has basically different projects where they invest or help to invest find investors, or even help the owner to shift themselves. That's a family office, to maintain what they have, to even make it more, to get a very good ROI. That's the buzzword nowadays here in Dubai, especially. But it is what it is. You want to have always to see your return of invest, and that's what is a family office 2.0. I describe it that way because as we are setting ourselves so much apart with the personal touch, so the everybody in this AI era is craving for personal touch. So
Mhm.
all of the save time on one hand on the technology side, we are utilizing to give this to our client and binding with them very much on a personal note. And this is something that has been taken on very well, because we have often clients who spontaneously ask, "Can I come? I need to know you personally."
Mhm.
And we offer that time if it's possible, of course, also live in person. If it's not possible, then of course in a Zoom and so on. But we see the tendency that the direction goes to, that people are craving for this personal touch and
Personal touch,
to
yeah.
be understood. And that's what we are totally picking up. Yeah.
So the AI can get rid of a lot of the manual workload that maybe it doesn't allow you to have the time. Cause like the one thing, like I have wear a couple hats. I work in software design,
Hmm.
and nowadays we're able to do a lot of work with AI to build code where
Hmm.
like maybe an entry level programmer or a programmer that's not as sophisticated like a high end architect,
Hmm.
we can have code get generated from AI. Right, and
Yes.
so we can have a business analyst put together, like, a use case, and they can actually prompt engineer a lot of the
Hmm.
code with AI without having a developer until they get to something that maybe is more foundational, and then you have to have architects and your lead programmer will get involved. But if
Hmm.
it's, like, something that, you don't really need that level, you can actually gain a lot of, like, workflow and processing like, efficiency. So then you have more time for what you're saying, maybe the sales call, more time for the get to know the person, or the time for the to figure out, like what you need to do without having to worry about all the busy work.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Dubai, like, where you are, is becoming like a really good hotspot for doctors and founders. And why do you think that is?
Yeah, I can tell you that exactly on the point. In Europe, where we have our clientele, most of they also come from other sides. But as I have an European background, of course, yeah, this is this. Um, uh, yeah, this magnet that everybody has culture-wise, that they coming from Europe. At this point, I can see that people are really running from the economy firsthand, but also from the mindset of the people. Where we have in Europe the negative collection of people, we have in Dubai the positive collection of people. Yeah, in Europe they are getting shown how to survive without working. And
Mm,
that creates a big gap in the society between those who like to perform, who like to have a successful life, uh, between those who are actually learning how to fill out the contract, or the papers for the socials, receivables that they get or they wanted to have in order to live their life on the couch with chips and, yeah, whatever TV in the, in the morning already. They don't do nothing. And a very high performer doesn't like to be in this environment. And everybody is really attracted to the energy this city here, Dubai, has. And another reason is because, yeah, in Europe, it is really unsafe to be, especially as a woman, I can say this, to be in the evening or the night out on the streets. And you don't have to fear this here in Dubai. It is the place, as our ruler here said, where is no worries for a female to walk at night. If you are walking at night on the street, that's his quote, without fear, if a woman is allowed to walk on the street at night without fear, then you know you are in Dubai. And that's really a big point. Security, one of the strongest points why I shifted like since 2017 here to Dubai. And yeah, that is actually the main reason. Economical advice, of course, not all the time tax wise. Yeah, it's picking up with taxes here. We also have Texas is not anymore a tax runaway country, but yeah, it is more the economy, positivity of people, and security. What people attracts from all of the countries to here. You can imagine there are around 1,000 people daily who get their residency here.
Wow. So it's just a, yeah, a hot spot for economic activity for entrepreneurial
Yes.
people
Yeah.
who want to do that without maybe a lot of state regulation, maybe overtaxation that you get from other countries. And also
Yeah.
this mindset of an
Mindset.
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, if you can go to a place, but also it's like in terms of like client base, um, how do you like? I guess because it's growing and you get so many people coming in, is it just an internal client base to Dubai, or you're actually working internationally? Like,
I
are the people
myself,
build? Yeah, the people who are you're working with who are creating these scaling these businesses, are these international businesses or are they businesses that are centered in Dubai?
well, I'm working international worldwide, but yeah, a lot of people who are coming from international backgrounds, they are based here basically. And often if they hear me somewhere in a podcast, then they have the connection and they connect me here while they have actually their plans to move to Dubai or visit Dubai. So that's how it comes often. And that's why I value podcasts like that very much, because it is like a magnet here. Yeah. The vibration of Dubai is unbeatable when it comes to entrepreneurship, because of actually the mindset. And an entrepreneur always looks and seeks for, the surrounding area. They always look for mind like people. And that's what it is here. I always say, you out of a quote of, I don't even know what, I think Napoleon Hill has mentioned this in one of his books, that you are the average out of 5 people that you surround yourself with. And if you only surround yourself with negative focused people out of from Europe or anywhere else, then yeah, that's what suddenly comes also to your business. But if you do this on the other way, and you surround yourself with people who have actually dreams, fulfill them, and don't need to hide because they are high performers and be, bullied because of they have high goals, then you are in Dubai. And that's the surrounding environment that you need as an entrepreneur.
But I guess in terms of like the actual the customer base, is the customer base when you people move to Dubai, is it the international customer base or specifically a customer base in Dubai or the surrounding countries near
No,
Dubai?
I have international clients. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So when people come there to create their business might have a global reach. It's not necessarily a business that's focused on the Dubai market.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. That is, let's say, 70% the case, but I also have clients that are operating in other countries,
Mhm.
around the Middle East, but also in the USA, but also in Europe. Basically, they often leave. Yes, but still they have their businesses there. Sometimes they don't leave and have their businesses there and wanted to scale. Maybe they got in touch with me because of they went to Dubai, saw me because of any kind of activity around an event or so. And yeah, that is how I do it, or that's how we get in contact. And yeah, our businesses are worldwide.
So when people get on a Skillionaire call and
Mhm.
they start to figure out like what type of businesses are you working with today? Like, so people understand, like, is this for their type of business? What type of business, market are you in for, the type of entrepreneurs you talk to?
Yes, I don't work much with corporates. I have tried that, but yeah, the barriers are so strong that it is really not fun for me to
Mhm.
reach the scaling point because I really set myself apart to act fast. And most of the entrepreneurs, meanwhile, out of every industry, are SMEs or founders with 10 plus employees. So on that scale, I help people from aviation to a jeweler. So my background, yeah, from Germany, I had big two businesses within the beauty industry. I wrote many books in there and helped first of all this clientele, this industry to scale. Me coming to Dubai, the processes for scaling are always the same, no matter what industry that are, and that's how I spanned out the reach over other industries. So, people from aviation I have here and big aviation training center, they ask me how they can actually scale. I made the concept for them, so they now book out their training center for not only aviation related businesses, but also for leadership trainings, for example, for other companies. And we know how to scale that. We show them how to scale that. We have also jewelers who wanted to bring on their jewelry here onto a worldwide level. And so we help them with that. It's very various. Real
That's
estate is
interesting.
really big. Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like within real estate, within the finance sector. Well, what about like in IT and like information technology? Are you working with companies like that, or are you more working with
Yes.
companies that
In
are,
fact,
yeah,
yeah, I have a mentee in my program, a Skillionaire program. He started actually off to be my cooperation partner. Then I saw how he actually treats his clients, and I really had a hard word for him because being a cooperation partner, it reflect his behavior reflected towards me and my clients, and everybody was asking me, "Are you really working with this person together?" That's when I sat down with him and found out that what he does in the way he doesn't really want to. Yeah, he's more on the operational side, and that's when we had the talk. And then he came to my Skillionaire program because he didn't see himself to shift his technology. And now he has a program in the matter of AI to show how to implement this for other people. So he's in my program. He knows the customer journey is really sucking if he's not binding them clients, and so we put his workflow together, and now he has himself a mentoring where he shows this, so he can have a one to many program where he gets out of the operational side, the pain point for him, which really triggers him because he saw that he wanted to scale, but he got so upset with all and every client who is having a service request, and because he saw he cannot shift it, it's just too one to one, like, but
yeah,
somehow he didn't know how to get out. And then we don't see our own shadows, and sometimes we need to somebody for reflection, especially in entrepreneurship, if you be out there by yourself. And that's when he's actually entered our program, and now we're working together to fix all of this step by step and perfectionize it.
yeah. It's like probably a blind spot that a lot of people have is like if you're so much of subject matter expert, if you become a key person dependency,
Yeah.
then
If you
like
don't,
it's hard to grow
yeah,
if you're the one that's doing 90% of the work when you have to start to let go.
yes,
And
yeah,
sometimes you might have a problem letting go because you're like, I'm the only one that can do it.
yeah,
But you have to kind of not just hoard that knowledge in order to be able to grow and expand, you're going to have to give up some of that so that you can go on and expand your operation. So you're not the one doing all the day to day work.
Yeah. Exactly. Often I reflect people on the kind of work that they do because they are mixing it up to slide back with their grow all the time in the operational work. And often then they don't see, aha, this is now my point where I can work on my business. It is fantastic always also when I reflect myself. And being in a family office, we really have a small team. It's only 5 and we have at least 50 AI agents that my 5 people working with them and coordinate. And sometimes I go on metaverse about my own work and I'm thinking to myself, and I need to smile. Aha, this is now how it works very well. Now I can lean back, relax, and enjoy working on my business basically and do something. And often then I change my scenery, go out of the office, go somewhere inspiring, and work in that case very creative on my business. And that brings me so much joy seeing also founders and business owners to do so in the same manner brings me so much joy because I really feel that I enabled them in bringing the best out of their business, getting the
Yeah,
best out of their business. Yeah,
that's a really good use case for like AI agents because then if you can give that workload to the AI agent, then you can go and have the communication with a new client, or you can think about creativity, right? You can actually focus on whiteboarding a new idea, right? Coming
exactly.
up with something new, having a conversation that triggers you to come up with something new, travel, because sometimes you need, like, if you're just inside the cubicle and you're just grinding, which a lot of people do, they just grind and say, I got to do the 12 hours of just doing the
Yes.
work myself. Versus like,
Hmm.
what if you spent a bunch of hours like in like luncheons or webinars or meet and greets or on the golf course or like then you actually can build relationships and relationships is
Yes.
like that's what business is about, right?
That is so important, especially here in Dubai. As I said earlier, you are in the desert and you need a big caravan that you're going with entrepreneur wise. Yeah, if you are alone here and you think you manage it alone, this is not going to work. It's also not only about who you know, but whom you're known by. And if you don't show up in network events here, you're losing it out. This town is so fast. It is important that you anchor your message with other people, within other people, and yeah, giving your workload to split it to AI agents to bring much more results in a short time. It helps you to do all of these networks. Otherwise, we end up realizing having only lucky wise all the same amount of money and the same amount of time which turns into money. We have all
Yeah,
24
time
hours
time is
and
money. That's what people feel
aha,
like. If you spend all your time doing like tasks that are repetitive or could be given to someone else or given to an AI agent, then
exactly.
that time is your resource. That is your
Yeah,
asset. And I think
yeah,
that's where folks who are kind of more they want to own it. Like you get somebody like I want to own what's in the garage. You get an IT like entrepreneur. You get like I got to build that myself in the garage, like Steve Wozniak
exactly.
or like Bill Gates. Like
Yes,
they want it. And sometimes if you're an engineer, you're like inventor. Yeah, you need
yeah,
time to do that. So maybe somebody else needs to do the other work. So you kind of got to know who you are, right? And to figure out like, do you need a CFO? Do you need
exactly.
like a CIO? Do you need some fractional like CTO? Because
Yeah,
like it's actually better if you're in the lab because you're better at that. Like if you know your limitations, like maybe I'm not good at that. Maybe I need somebody that is.
exactly. Yeah. And then that's how you can actually shift. But also, a lot of people nowadays that want to apply AI AI agents, AI tools, whatsoever. They're just like kind of, I compare this all the time, like with Pac-Man. They are just using AI all over their business, like Pac-Man, trying the next tool, trying the next tool. They act like
Don't have a plan.
Disneyland,
They
and
don't have
then
a plan.
they never end up in implementing it. So that's also a new phenomenon. When I see founders, they have this tool, this tool, this tool. I mean, at least they don't even need to, for a whole year trying all of these things out there. They are actually not need to go beyond any subscription of a trial. They can get themselves like from trial to trial, probation trial to trial, in order to manage the subscription. But then they fail out actually to implement really workflows. And that's what I also tell founders to say no to a new tool, maybe because of it takes too long to find the tool out, because you already have workflows that running good enough until you spend the time that to find out if and how this new tool works. You need to catch the momentum first, and if those momentum is settled and you need to know where to optimize, then you can look for another tool. Often a lot of founders are falling in that trap and drown in subscription after subscription. And
Yeah,
that's for me
maybe.
sometimes funny to see. Yeah.
But I think it's because like the shiny new object. Because this is like
Exactly.
the age of like there's so many new shiny objects. Am I missing something if I don't
Yes.
jump on that train?
Yeah.
Versus should I actually figure out what works and then refine? Kind of like the engineer's point of view is we work on something, we iterative develop it, we get to really know it. And then if we see a gap, it's okay, there's a real gap here. So now
Yeah.
we need something now. But we've got to iteratively really know our stuff and then see what it is. So like you can't just pick everything. You can't just look
Yeah.
like every little shiny object coming in. You got to stay dedicated to like a rigor. Like it's like the scientific method. You have to
Yes.
have
Yes.
some
Yes.
set of rigor.
I witnessed actually a very fantastic, interesting phenomenon, that one side, these are the founders with all this shiny, new shiny object syndrome, and they run after the next tool, after the next tool, don't implement it. And then I have most of the times, amongst employees that are not daring to implementing or utilizing it. So I have employed lately, like a month ago, an elderly guy who has very big knowledge around Dubai, and we need him for documentation, clearance, and so on. But he has no really much touch to AI. And although we are supporting him and educate him, I found out that he secretly wise put it on his computer an Excel sheet to have a better overview, where we have all kind of implementations to have a quick overview. But he is trying to bypass these tools out of fear to learn something new. And now here comes the big thing. This is one part of the audience, that you have one group of people that handle AI in terms of neglecting it, and the other ones who not implementing it and jumping after each and all
Yeah,
new
I
tool.
need the
And
middle
then,
ground.
exactly, you need to, as an entrepreneur, you need to understand that there are these two groups, and now you need to connect them. Educate well enough those who are fearing to implement it, and put a little break or reality situation, what momentum they lose. Those who are trying to go for the new one and miss out of implementing it and executing it out of this point of view. Bringing it all together, it really helps you to go and move forward. I mean, there is really a big shift that you leverage over that point. And I assume that 2026 will be the last year where we operate as human beings on a scale where how we know it from the last century. I think 2026 will be a totally other year. And not the people that I wanted to line this out as the last point on AI, but I think it's very important. A lot of people, they are still in fear of being substituted by AI, by all of these AI agents. And I only can say you are not substituted by AI agents, but you're substituted by those who know how to deal with those AI agents. And
Yeah.
that's why you are. It is your homework to do for saving your job. The dinosaurs didn't die because of they were so adjustable to their circumstances that has changed. So um, that's why it is my biggest advice for all entrepreneurs to really get into the subject and merge with it in
Yeah.
order
You have
to
to
see how
evolve,
to
go from a
ex-
dinosaur to a bird. Because
yes.
the dinosaurs didn't really all the way die off. They kind of evolved to birds. So like
Yes,
they had to learn what their environment was challenging them with. So AI you can think of as the thing that challenges you, and you need to actually evolve. And the way
exactly.
I look at it, like in IT, the issue in IT, like I started off I'm 58. I started off on mainframes.
Uh-huh.
We're in the blockchain like AI era, but I mean I'm still dealing with servers, still dealing with SQL,
Mhm.
but I learned like everything. And what you have to do in IT is you have to evolve, and it's
Yes.
exponential. The tech exponentially changes. Now I know guys that were mainframe and they stayed mainframe because there was always some mainframe that needed to get worked on because they still exist.
Mm.
So those
Mhm.
guys said, "Well, I don't need to change. I can just be an expert, 30-year expert on a mainframe, on COBOL."
Yes.
And you could
Mhm.
get away with that to a certain extent, but in this era, you're probably not gonna be able to get with that because
Yeah,
those mainframes are gonna get replaced,
exactly.
totally gonna be gone. And these
Yeah.
guys were hedging their bet on this. I'm always gonna get needed because I'm the only COBOL machine language guy around. And
Uh-huh.
that's probably not gonna be the case in the next couple of years.
Yes. Yeah, it's so important to involve it, to implement it, and always look beyond the framework that you have actually now, and to see how you basically can involve it on a new place, implement it, invent it somehow for new things, and bring what is existing together with what will be. That's how Albert Einstein actually did it. Yeah.
Well, I think the idea is like, it's a tool. The way I look at it as I have, 30 years of financial business knowledge as an analyst. When I take my business knowledge and I use the AI prompt engineering,
Hmm.
I can use the prompt engineering to be able to do something where previously I would have had to have a budget to go get
Mm.
2, 3 programmers and an
Mhm.
architect to build something for me. Now, as a
Mhm.
BA, I can prompt engineer code, and I can actually
Mhm.
build like test models
Yes.
without a programmer, right? And
Mhm.
actually see if I can get it to work and then scale it to a bigger enterprise level thing and then bring the coders in, right? But
Exactly.
before I couldn't even do that. I wouldn't even have a budget to do it. Now I can just do it. So that's where the tech allows you to kind of build at this micro level models or
Mhm.
examples or prototypes that allow you to scale. And if you're an entrepreneur, you can, with 3D printers and all kinds of stuff, you could scale manufacturing things that you would have needed 50 people, you would have needed a building, and now suddenly you have a 3D printer and you got your head and your prompt engineering. You can actually start building product
Yes,
without
it
all the
is.
without the infrastructure that you would have had to have.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, I like stuff like that. I like development like that, and I'm really keen all the time um to to look at those in some time from now. Uh, those who are actually neglecting it. Yeah, like 20 years ago, I had people who said, "Oh, internet. This is something that will disappear. Yeah, it's not gonna last very long."
It's the foundation of like where we are. I mean, the fact that we can be on this call, and
Exactly.
it used to be 5, 10 years ago, I would have to be in a TV studio to
Yes.
be able to do this at a level of quality that the connection was valid, right? Now I'm actually talking to you in Dubai. I'm in, United States, New Hampshire, and the quality is like, it's 1080. It could be 4K, but I mean, it's high quality. It's not glitching. You can hear us, you can see us. That's because of the internet. The tech on the
Exactly.
internet exponentially got better and better, and it's always getting better,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
allows this kind of free flow communication like we're in person.
Yeah,
So
and I have a lot of sympathy for for those entrepreneurs who actually really coming from another century that they are really taking care for implementing AI and they are wanted to get adjusted to the new things. I have a lot of entrepreneurs from elderly generation, like they are 50, 60, 70 plus even. They say how to do this and please explain me, so these are not just the youngsters who coming
yeah, they wanna
around
know.
and
Well, yeah,
so
you have to come around to it because it's like the dinosaur gotta evolve to the bird, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And if you
exactly.
don't, then you won't be around. Um, and it's just, there's always fear. I mean, I imagine, like, when the horse and buggy, right, was around and then the automobile showed up, right?
Yeah,
That the guys who were doing the horseshoes, the guys who were feeding the horses, and building the carriages, they're like, "Well, what do we gotta do?" Well, they had to
yes,
go learn how to work on the engines. They had to go
exactly.
learn and work, building the coaches, and the new coaches became the cars. So
Yes,
the coach
exactly.
builder that built the coach for the horse and buggy suddenly got moved to doing that. Now he probably didn't like it. He probably was kind of upset about it, but eventually you have to like get past your being emotional about it and realize it's like the industrial age is here. I have to move. It's like we're in the information robotic age, AI robotics era. And it's exponentially what we saw in science fiction is going to happen. We're going to have robots like a Star Wars robot, like a
Yes,
C3PO, R2D2. They're really going to be around. They're already being built, right?
they,
We're going to see the things we saw in science fiction books actually be
yes.
happening.
If you be nowadays on an expedition, I don't know how it is in USA, but maybe not that kind. We already have here AI robots are walking upright like a human being,
Yeah,
and
we've got them. We've got them in Boston and stuff. We got robot taxis, we got robots
yes.
operating like fast food places,
Exactly.
fully
Even here,
automated
there is a
fast food.
police station, a smart police station that operates with robots. So if you have a complaint, they are asking you here, a robot asking you, what is your complaint? You go to the police station and first communicate with the smart police officer, which is a robot.
Robot,
And
yeah.
and until then, they are actually figuring out what it is the case where you need to be connected to a human officer. So that's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, this thing, it's like there's a hesitance to deal with things that happen quickly. And the thing about, I think, the internet, it wasn't so quick. I mean, it seemed quick, but I think what's scary to some people is the fact of how exponential this tech is. And being in IT, we can understand it. Like, we exponentially get these machines to get better and better with every generation. With the AI, it's the same thing, but it's on steroids. It's like you're getting like
Yes.
major leaps and bounds that are going beyond what you could have imagined. And to some people, when they say, well, like, oh, an engineer is going to get replaced, like a entry level engineer, an entry level doctor could be
Hmm.
replaced by a surgical robot. Like,
Yes.
like there's so with people that say, well, it's not going after my white collar job. It's going after my credentialed job. But then you have
Mm,
to like, well, what happens if I actually get with a company and give the knowledge to help build this robot and have the human factor still involved in a work chain instead of like rejecting it, like
exactly.
jump on it and say like, hey, there's an opportunity where we could specialize in this area. I've got 30 years experience. What if we specialize and do this niche and then take it on instead of like rejecting it?
Yeah.
They
It
say
always
that we
has to do. It always has to do something with energy. Even if it's a very technology-based situation, always has something to do with energy. If you are operating always out of an point of contraction, somebody's taking something away from me, then you always only gain the same energy back, and eventually somebody will take something away from you. But if you are open-hearted and open-minded to a situation where you can bring yourself in, your knowledge and everything, then people wanted to work with you, and that's what you're gonna receive. Okay, they are understand, they can ask you, they can work with you, and you are not just like kind of trying to take something away. And if people are acting with this kind of contraction energy, they your opposite, be it your business partner, be it the teacher, be it your client, they always try to dig deeper because they feel you're hiding something. And if a human being has gets that trigger of somebody is hiding something, they dig deeper, and they will eventually find what they wanted to find, and what makes them actually to split apart with this person because they hide it. So it is very important that you act, you be smart, not in the fear of losing out, but in the knowledge of winning something with implementing all of this.
Right, I think we just have to have a more expansive growth mindset.
Yeah,
So, like, what a lot of times that people have, in business, there's a lot of things. Well, you have projects. Well, that's too labor intensive. That's too time intensive. That's too complex. Now with AI, there's all these projects that were like on the shelf. It would have been too hard to do it, right? It was too complex to do it, right? There was no
exactly.
way to actually to implement. But now all these things that you put on the shelf,
Yeah,
this modern era, it's like now you actually think, well, what if that thing we put on the shelf? What if I go off and become an entrepreneur and I go implement that thing they put on the shelf? Because now I can actually do
exactly.
it. So it's
Yeah,
like instead of saying like what you can't do, what is it that you could do with the thing that maybe you never got to implement? And now he's like, wow, this is an opportunity. So instead of like saying it's like, oh, I'm hitting the bad notes, there's no opportunity, like I'm in jazz. Like if sometimes somebody hits a note that's unexpected, but you
hmm,
evolve the song to match that chord. Instead
exactly.
of
Yeah,
saying, oh, he hit the wrong note, we gotta start from the top. No, he hit a different note. Let's change the song to match the note. It's a different mindset.
exactly. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's one example that comes to my mind concerning that. I have one client who is actually working in the industry of cleaning, maintains buildings, and especially from the outside. So, and he didn't used to be in this business, but he came to know that you can easily shift it with those drone cleaning
Drone
systems.
cleaning.
So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's a
he
good idea.
has, yeah, and it's very smart. I think it's very smart and effective. So he has two machines, I think, that he tried to get contracts with. But for example, here in Dubai, everything is given out, yeah, like years ahead of to one company.
Um,
So it is very hard for him to come, even though they have new technology. So he's been trying to get one after one new deal, where I said, why you do not get actually involved with those people who already have the deals, and not operating as the one who is cleaning, but operates as the one who is basically renting out the machines to clean better what they already have. And that's how he shifted. Instead of having two drone cleaners, he has now 20 drone cleaners. That's how we shifted his business, because he's now able to rent it out, and not
oh, he
only
rents it
in,
to the cleaning people who had
yeah,
the contracts.
that have
He went
already
to
the
the people
contracts.
with the contracts and found a way to get in.
Yeah, exactly. And now he only not he doesn't only work in Dubai, where there are a lot of high buildings with glass facades and so, but he is expanding to Saudi Arabia and Qatar, where the
Mm.
houses are much more dirtier because they have a lot of more sandstorms. So we
Oh, so
really
you have to
had,
clean them a lot, yeah. That
yeah,
makes sense.
we really had the chance to shift his business, and he was saying,
Big
thank you
growth.
so much, because I never thought about it. So yeah, we're
Well,
looking
that's the
for the
thing
biggest level
sometimes,
change.
like our education system sometimes narrowed our ability to expand. Like if you're a creative person, you're more willing to try something and fail upward, right?
Yeah.
Where if
Yeah.
you're somebody that's been kind of not taught to be a critical thinker, you might like the safety of doing
Yeah.
something in a repetitive way. So you're doing that 9 to 5, you're in a repetitive loop. You're not really pushing it, right? Where the creative person is willing to fail upward or to incrementally try things and look at things that may not be comfortable. See, it's not always comfortable to be on that outer edge of doing those
Exactly.
things, and sometimes safety feels like comfort, but it really isn't.
Mm.
Is
It
that
is.
sometimes you have to be willing to actually take a risk.
Exactly, but our, as you mentioned, the school system, it's a big, it's I call it, it's a big crime on society because they are teaching our youngsters, our young generation, only to think in limitations, yeah, and in the framework that they get taught by the school system. And that's what also I love so much about Dubai. The school system here is so much set it up for entrepreneur. Lately, I had the doctor who came with his children, and one of his sons, 14, he knows exactly what he wants to be. He wants to be a pilot. And so then we had exactly looked at the schools who had already these curriculums of being in aviation. So it is something so beneficial also for families and their children to get out of this framework, especially European framework. School they only teach limitations. I don't know about USA, but I assume somehow it is the same. And there is not a lot of entrepreneurial thinking implemented in the school system. And here they already do with the age of 10. They have own companies in the school. They are building up foundations in the school, and they're bringing up business plans. It is amazing. I'm literally amazed, and I wish I was going to the schools. Who know what had happened to me when I was in schools like that? I always think, and I'm so blessed for every child who managed how to get actually to one of these schools here in Dubai. It's a very very beneficial landscape for creative thinkers.
Well, I think that's a really important is to kind of education has to shift to the modern era where
Yeah,
a lot of times, I went to, I actually had the benefit of going to a pretty good school, Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine. And it was, Socratic method, critical thinking, ability to relearn, challenge things, and basically the mindset is, I don't know what I don't know,
yeah,
and maybe I should try to find out, right? And maybe I should ask probing questions and not just take something like, oh, that's the way it is. No, like be a scientific method, try to break the theory.
yeah,
The whole
yeah,
thing in science is you have a theory, you try to prove it wrong. And then
yeah,
with to prove it wrong, you're going to advance, right? So you
exactly.
actually have to challenge the foundational structure and not just say, "Oh, that's the way it is."
Yeah,
No, you have to look at it and say, "Could it be better? Could it be different?
exactly.
Are we
Yeah,
even in the same ballpark? Maybe we need to even look at the whole thing." And it's like it's not even what we should have. And so that is hard because a lot of people it rocks the boat, and people don't like to rock the boat because they
yeah.
they feel like they're an outcast if they rock the boat.
Yeah, then yeah, rock the boat is a very good quote because it also has something to do with responsibility, and our children actually get so much so that to overtake responsibility is something ooh yucky, you know. You do not want to have this responsibility. You don't want to have honey on your hands, you know. You do not want it to take over this responsibility of what is the outcome. And that is something also something very faulty for our society. And because also the yeah in especially in schools you do have a very upside down mistake politics. So if my daughter comes home from work from school and she has a bad grade, and I'm looking at all the red dashes throughout her her mathematic or whatever work it is, I celebrate every red dash that she has, red mark on her work, because I see you do have to look at this, and you did this one mistake once, you don't have to do this again. So we let's celebrate for making this mistake, because you're going to remember this for the future and try
Yeah.
to avoid it. And a lot of people, they are just like, they don't have this philosophy of making a mistake. The
Yeah.
other day I had,
You can't advance without mistakes.
yes, exactly. The other time I had an employee who was doing a big cost intensive mistake, and he already came on with his resign paper. And I said, "What you resigning for?" "Well, I did this mistake. It was 12,000 XYZ dirham, which is about $3,000." I was like, it takes you literally 8 weeks until you work this mistake back into our cashier. So learn from it, but I'm gonna not let you go because of a mistake is being done. So that is something also a lot of people are not getting entrepreneur-wise in their head. They are allowed to do mistakes, and these are important assets for your company. Every mistake that has been done, you can actually congratulate yourself. And if it's a very cost intensive mistake, yeah, you tell the employer how long they have to work for you until they actually neutralize these costs that has been created by this mistake. Yeah. So that's how I always see it. And it's a totally different approach of making mistakes, and allow yourself to make mistakes too and learn from it. So it's nothing bad, as yeah, our kids actually get trained in school that mistakes are something very bad to do, and yeah, you are a bad person, a bad character, a bad deliverer if you do this mistake. Don't know this, don't know that, and that's also out of a point of limitations where we should actually not operate from.
Yeah, and sometimes like in creativity we have this idea of happy accidents. So a lot
Yeah.
of creative pieces of art or things that are in the creative space weren't exactly planned 100%. There's a lot
Mm,
of great paintings, there's a lot of great pieces of art, music, all kinds of things that were what we call happy accidents.
yes.
Somebody
Hmm.
had their 10,000 hours or 20,000 hours of mastery, and they chose to do something different, or they kept something on the page they thought was a mistake, but it was an opportunity. So sometimes
Yes,
if you don't let something happen and you just keep on doing the same thing, you don't advance. And so when
exactly.
you're willing to kind of push it and maybe you see something that was not expected, don't always assume that what was unexpected was actually bad. Sometimes it's actually the next opportunity.
It is definitely, yeah. We just have to think and see and look outside of the box, isn't it?
Yeah. But I want to thank you for being on the show today. I'm going to remind people that we have your QR code that goes to the calendar invite that's there. So if you take your phone or tablet and you scan that QR code up there, it'll go right to your Beauty Biz Skillionaire session link. And so you don't have to click on that. You can just use your phone to do that. And if people go there, they can just book with you there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm
So we
looking forward. As we say in Arabic here, shukran.
We do
Thank
encourage
you.
people to do that. So thank you for being on today, and we encourage people to either when the show is done, we've been on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Kick. You could click on that link. Those links below will be active in the podcast description. If it's on LinkedIn or YouTube or Kick, you can click through. If you want to just do it right now, you scan the phone, you'll go right there. And we want to thank you again for being on the show today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And I wish to have everybody to welcome in my calendar, and they pop up there with the link. Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Have a good night or day. You started the day, right?
Day, yes.
Night, it's night for me, but it's daytime
Yeah.
for